Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
In the name of God, most gracious, most compassionate. Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you once again, with the Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi, wa barakatuhu. May peace, mercy, and blessing of Allah be upon all of you. Today I am going to present 8th topic, rotation of the sun, from my book. Al-Quran, the Book of Signs.
وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا ذَلِكَ تَقْدِيرُ الْعَزِيزِ الْعَلِيمِ.
And the sun runs on his course for a period determined for him. That is the decree of Allah, the exalted in might, the all-knowing. Al-Quran chapter number 36, verse number 38. In the above verse Almighty Allah clearly mentioned that the sun is running at his course for a period determined for him. Let's have a look at what cosmologists are saying about rotation of the sun. The first and most widely used tracers are sunspots. The English scholar Thomas Harriot was probably the first to observe sunspots telescopically, as evidenced by a drawing in his notebook dated December 8, 1610. Though sunspots had been observed since ancient times, it was only when the telescope came into use that they were observed to turn with the sun, and thus the period of the solar rotation could be defined. The English scholar Thomas Harriot was probably the first to observe sunspots telescopically, as evidenced by a drawing in his notebook dated December 8, 1610, and the first published observations, June 1611. Entitled Narration on Spots Observed on the Sun and Their Apparent Rotation. With the sun were by Johannes Fabricius, who had been systematically observing the spots for a few months and had noted also their movement across the solar disk. This can be considered the first observational evidence of the solar rotation. Christopher Sinner was the first to measure the equatorial rotation rate of the sun, and noticed that the rotation at higher latitudes is slower, so he can be considered the discoverer of solar differential rotation. St. John 1918 was perhaps the first to summarize the published solar rotation rates, and concluded that the differences in series measured in different years can hardly be attributed to personal observation or to local disturbances on the sun, and are probably due to time variations in the rate of rotation. And Hubrick 1915 was the first one to find that the two solar hemispheres rotate differently. Source: Wikipedia. My brothers and sisters, today, due to advancement of modern cosmology and with the help of huge telescope, we are able to see far beyond our limits. We know that all these advancements are very recent, but the verses of the Holy Quran I am presenting to you are not recent. It is approximately 1,500 years old. How could a man, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1,500 years ago in the middle of the desert, can mention all these established scientific facts which we came to know very recently? It is impossible to be known with the level of knowledge at the time of revelation. The Quran is the word of Allah, who has created everything and knows the slightest details of his creation. I ask Almighty Allah to make us worthy recipients of this boundless knowledge and open our minds and hearts to understand it, as it was meant to be understood. Ameen.